feeling very good. So I needed to come on early tonight to get us going. I don't have much time left. So I wanted to come on while I still could. Just not enough time left. Hello, hello, hello. I'm very early. It's not you, it's me. I am early. I am not feeling great tonight, so I just thought I would hop on now so I could share and hang out for just a little bit before I've used up all of my energy. So, unfortunately, I think things have just been too crazy and it's kind of caught up with me. But hello, hello, hello. And this time I did bring my ethics rules book out for anyone who's interested. Look at that. We actually have rules of professional conduct. Oh, thanks, James. Hello, welcome, welcome in. Yeah, I think the last couple of days are starting to catch up with me just a little bit. So I'm gonna have to rest for a little while, but I hope everyone else's day has been going okay. Hello, is it Mode? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. I am definitely excited to make this move from the TikTok over to the YouTube. So I'm very excited about that. I'm okay. I'm okay. We're, one foot in front of the other sometimes is the best that we can do. And that's okay. And we're okay with that. So, yikes. There's been some craziness over there on the TikTok, so I'm very excited to be able to move over here. Yes, so happy Thursday. I have scheduled originally here for 7 o'clock. I am early. That's just that's me. You didn't come in late. I'm early. I have not been feeling very good, so I wanted to come on while I still had enough energy to hang out with everybody. So, hello, hello, hello. Where am I from? So, I am located in the Central Time Zone in the US. That, big, big area with all of the red states. That's where I'm at. So, Texas. Well, hello, Jim. Hello. I've got family in Texas, so welcome. Good to see you. Hello, hola, hola. Hello, Amon. Good to see you. Nope, no, I don't show my face without a filter. I keep things pretty private, in case you're wondering. Yes, so welcome. I have posted that I would start tonight at 7. I'm just a bit early, but I wanted to talk just a little bit about the latest order that has come out regarding the deportations to El Salvador. And then I also have a little bit of an update on the Colombia student who has permanent citizenship but has been detained by ICE. So I've got both of those to kind of talk about tonight. Mm-hmm. Yes, order. Yeah, his order that has just come out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're a single gigolo boy? Oh, well, good for you. That's great. I think it's great when you're able to really grow up and, pursue the careers that you're interested in. Uh, which one's going to get ignored? Yeah, nobody's ignoring any orders yet. It seems like every order is saying you need to give some information and then you need to come into court. So that's what they're doing. We've got another hearing tomorrow at 2. That hearing was set to go over the restraining order, so that is tomorrow. And you can call in. There's a public line you can call in on. Trump is innocent of what? I mean, he's not being accused of guilt or innocence here. Um, well, uh, Right, you mean judge? Jim, are you trying to say that the judge is overstepping here? Because the judge is the one that decides whether or not a piece of law being used is illegal. That's the judge's job. So when we're talking about, what does a judge do? The judge determines the law. So the law being used here was not correct. So, you can't use it. There's a lot of 1798, and it doesn't allow for deportation without it being wartime. You can't use it. Uh, right. So, good question, Hanta. It looks like there's a New York, oh my gosh, I can't remember. Raskin. So Representative Raskin actually has a couple of links that you can look at on his website in order to kind of go down that road and ask some questions. So NSN, I think you're probably a bot because intelligent people don't say that. So we're going to just go ahead and move that. Thank you so much. Yes, this is when I need a little extra a little extra help. Class action lawsuit against Gavin Newsom and California government for lack of competence. So, lack of competence isn't actually a thing, but um, you certainly can file against him. And actually, in California, they have a very good pro se clinic that helps a lot of Californians to file their own lawsuits. So you do a bit of a search, you certainly can. When you have a country involved in different, like what's the line? Can't valid point. And so we look to the Constitution. The Constitution sets out that Congress declares war. So if we're looking to see what exactly is war in order to make that determination, it's Congress. They have to say it. What can we sue him for? Great question, and I don't know. What kind of harm have you had? That's really what our civil system's about. If you have been harmed, then you need to then you're able to sue. Hector, wow. I think also we must have another bot. If people are saying random things that make no sense or have any kind of intellectual value, I'm going to assume it's a bot. So we'll just kind of go forward that way. Emotional distress. Harm has been done by. So, Jim, right? So, what harm's been done by deporting gangbangers? We don't know. We don't know that they're gangbangers, Jim, because what happened is there's just some fella who said that they are, but we don't have any proof. So, in this country, unlike Russia, we don't just pick people up and ship them away. We actually need some proof, need some evidence. So, without that, we don't really know. I mean, am I just supposed to take some bureaucrat's word that they're gangbangers? Should I just do that? Like, trust me, bro? We don't know, Jim. We don't know. That's the thing. We do not know. We have one bureaucrat in Texas who claims that they are. I trust the judge, yeah, because the judge follows the rules and follows evidence and those kinds of things. But we don't have any evidence, Jim. So that's kind of the thing. On YouTube, yes. I'm going to type out, oh no, Morningstar, no. Have I unblocked you yet over there? Are you under the same name? Sometimes that happens, especially lately. We've had a lot of trolls coming over to hang out and cause trouble. So if you do get blocked, just let me know what your handle is over there. Okay, same name. All right. Well, and what I do is I try to make a list and then I go over and unblock people. So sometimes that happens, especially when we have so many trolls coming at us. Your evidence is nationally archived. I don't even know what that means. Do you mean um, your evidence? Like when I'm talking about evidence, I mean like actual evidence, like real evidence here that's used. That's kind of what we're talking about. Said that it was illegal for Musk to bring the astronauts back. He ordered them to be returned. Now, that I don't know anything about, Frank. Very interesting. I'd have to look it up. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Hmm. Thank you, Spitfire Shine. Ah! Well, I mean, there is, of course, the National Archives has all kinds of evidence of all kinds of different things, but so you trust the Supreme Court. So I'm not really sure what you mean. I follow the United States Constitution, if that's what you're talking about. That's all I do is uh, follow, the law and the Constitution. No, it's okay, Willie B. I'm early. I'm early. So if I trust Boasberg as a judge, I'm not sure what you mean because yeah, I'm not really sure, Jim. I'm trying to let you play here for a little bit before I block you, but I'm really not sure what you mean. So yeah, let's say yeah, I trust the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court and all other judges are different. No problem, Morningstar. No problem. Got rid of the Department of Education. So he tried. He can try, and he tries to do a lot of stuff, but technically, only Congress can pull something like the Department of Education apart because they're the ones that made it. Only the person that makes the department can dismantle the department. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, off you go then, sweetest nightmare. Uh, collect your thoughts, will he be? That's so funny. Yeah. So, but of course, those executive orders are going to keep coming out, everybody, and they're just offensive. A lot of the orders are just offensive, except in cases of fraud. No, no, fraud is not an exception. Not legally. Maybe in another world, in space, another planet, that would work. But nope, fraud does not excuse anything. Fraud is not a defense. You can't use fraud as a rationale for bad acts. Nope. Nope, you can't. Are you following me, Willie B? I knew you would. I knew you'd be. Fraud is what is dismantling the department right now. No, Congress has to dismantle it. Fraud doesn't. Fraud doesn't have any authority. So I don't, you have to have the authority to do it, or you can't. So Jim, I don't block people for asking questions. I do block people for being a douche. So that's the key here. Oh, is it? Oh, Parasite. Oh, no. Oh, goodness. Well, I'll make sure that I adjust how I'm doing things just for you. The executive branch begins at what? Begins what? What do you mean? Begins what? It's all right, man from the West. I'm early. We're just playing with the trolls right now. We're troll hunting and we're just batting them around. No worries. When we start getting serious and start talking about what's going on, I will clear out the trolls here. So no worries. Judicial branch decides what? Do they decide what fraud is? Right. Yeah, troll alert. We're troll hunting, everybody. Go after the trolls. Usually we ignore the trolls and stifle the oxygen, but for tonight, um, we're just kind of playing around here for a few minutes. Everyone's not a troll and you're very smug. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yes, yes. So, we're just kind of hanging out and playing. Is Canada's sovereign nation despite having a foreign monarch as their head of state who possesses the exact. Wow, like you're gonna have to ask a Canadian. No worries, Rad. No worries. Nope, nope. We're okay. We're okay with this number. We're doing all right. We're just kind of playing with the trolls. Trolls always accompany witches. Well, right, that's a compliment. I would say I'm a witch. Sure, why not? Did your husband closet get taken over? Not yet. I had to get some. I got some foam board though. Somebody, one of my comments that I got said, "Hey, get some extra paneling." So I got some foam board. I think we'll be all right. Oh, thank you so much, Willie B. Yeah, we're okay. We're okay. We're just playing here. We're just playing with the trolls. Smack them around a little bit, everybody. We're playing with the trolls here for a few minutes before we get started. We're going on a troll hunt. We're just shooting the breeze right now, Lucas. We're just chatting up a little bit before I get started here on some updates in the legal world. Canadian, we put the queen on our money, and that seems about it. Oh my gosh, that's brilliant. All of the governing's done. Really? Okay, that's interesting. Well, Eddie, go ahead and Google that. Go ahead and get what you need to do is you need to get onto a computer and onto the internet, and then you can go ahead and Google that. Off you go, VC. I tell you what, these last few days. Oh my gosh, these last few days, everybody. Oh my gosh. Being an attorney without paying for. Hey, there really is a lot of legal work that gets done by a lot of people without law degrees. Those procedurals, those administrative rules, absolutely. Colony, I'm not sure it's a colony. Not sure. Right. Not sure. So, yeah, sorry everybody. I didn't even notice how many people were in here. I've just been like da 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 da. Well, welcome in everybody. Welcome in. I came on maybe about 20 minutes early just to hang out for a little bit. I am not feeling 100% tonight. So I came on a little bit early just to chat. I'm not going to be able to go for too long tonight. But I wanted to make sure, again, everybody remembers over here on the YouTube, I am going to be doing my lives for sure, everybody, to the best of my ability. Here on Tuesday and Thursdays and Sundays at 7 p.m. Central. All right. So I'm going to try to make sure, and this is my first time that I'm actually setting a YouTube gym. Take care of yourself out there. It's a crazy world out there. But I will be trying to make sure I come on. So just to hang out and chat. Oh my gosh, extra spoons. I need that. Did I study history as an undergrad? So I did to some degree. I really focused on political science. So it was history, a lot of history classes, but that wasn't my actual major. So screenshot, there you go. There you go. Screenshot it. And again, Morningstar, I will look that up and go in and unblock. If for some reason you're still blocked, come and leave a message or come and leave a comment on any of my posts here and just say, hey, I'm still not unblocked, and then I will see it right away. Because I'm kind of in a smaller world over here, which I really enjoy it because of that. And so I can see your comments quicker. All my attorneys studied history. Well, history is important, right? I think history helps us understand why we have the laws that we have. For sure. I think that's very important. History has always been one of my favorite areas. World studies, U.S. government. I guess I was really good at government. I don't know if I necessarily like government, but I was really good at it. And so that's why I picked it. And 82 gave us Canadians the ability to amend our own constitution. That's interesting, Kent. Yeah, you guys have an interesting constitution up there, and your rules are similar to ours, but yet significantly different in a way that really matters. This afternoon, thinking today was Friday. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, VC. Oh, are we gonna make it? I hope so. I really hope we make it. I hate government politicians. Me too. I do too. I do too. These politicians, I tell you what, everybody. Yeah, okay. Hello, Achilles. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you as always. It's hard being a blue dot in a red state. Oh my gosh, I hear ya. I hear ya. It's so funny because I know there is Hawk just did a post about the Tesla protests that are going to be coming up like next week or whatever. And so they're planning protests at all of the Tesla showrooms. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I looked around and I was like, wait, the closest one is pretty far away. We don't even have a showroom around here. That's how red our state is. Really? She doesn't use it? Oh, that's interesting. A self governing dominion in the British Empire. Oh dear, Kent. Oh dear. I'm not sure about that. Hello, James. Thank you so much for that. Oh, the thumbs up. I'm always so grateful for your support. Truly, 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 everybody. You guys and gals and pals all lift my spirits, no matter how low they are. I appreciate it so much. Well, welcome in, everyone. Since we are at that 7 o'clock number, let's go ahead and get started. And Hawk thinks the orange monster will declare martial law. Well, yeah, I suppose. You know, I think that's a fair question. I think how they deal with the protesters is definitely a big question. Hello, Cynthia. And, Trump in his first term, when there were protests going on, kind of was testing things out. So I wouldn't be surprised. All right, so for anyone that didn't see my post, we have a new order out of the JGG case. This is the El Salvador case, the deportation case. And our judge here is pretty upset here. He's pretty frustrated with what's going on. If you look at the language here, he goes through and explains, look, I've been telling you what I need and you're not giving it to me. And I'm going to give you another deadline for tomorrow at 10 a.m. and then a couple of other deadlines as well. So this judge is at a point where, with the language in this order, he's clearly setting up what he needs to do contempt. I think we are definitely going to see some contempt action going on if they do not concede, if they keep pushing this, everyone, and they refuse to continue to give the judge information about what happened here, I think we will absolutely see some contempt. The judge is asking for a cabinet level discussion person. So he wants a person with direct involvement, which is just basic law 101. We've got this state secrets privilege, which I don't even think that's applicable here. This can sometimes be used in very rare situations where they're going to ask, can some evidence just be taken from affidavits, is my understanding. Now, this judge is an expert in all of this. He knows all of this stuff and has gone through all of this before. So if they think they're going to just toss language out like state secrets, blah, 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 this is the wrong judge to do that with, because he actually knows what all of this stuff is and knows all of the precedent, all of the history behind it. And so he's not going to be BS compatible. So he said, I'm going to need a brief. I'm going to need you to explain. Are you using the privilege or not? What's going on? So he did set that out today, which again just sets up this amazing, careful step by step towards contempt situation. And again, everyone, contempt can be, um, monetary. It can also be jail. And these attorneys absolutely can be in contempt of court. And he could very well order people into jail. Will he? I don't know, but it's possible. It's possible. We want jail. We certainly do want jail at this point. At this point, I think, yeah, we want our pound of flesh, right? Like you all are just, jerking everybody around here. We're gonna need some accountability. That's absolutely on the table. So that's the latest update here on the El Salvador case. Don't forget tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern, will be a hearing talking about the temporary restraining order. I have absolutely no doubt that the judge will also be touching on some of these other questions that he had. So this judge just, he kind of just sets it up and knocks it down. He's not really playing around. He knows what he needs for information legally, and he's like, you can tell me, or we're going to have some problems. Would the contempt be paid by taxpayers? Great question. Oh my gosh, Lucas, I tell you what, that's a great question because we've got the Department of Justice here. So with the Department of Justice, I suppose he could do he could make it so that the taxpayers weren't paying. But it's possible, I suppose. I think it would just kind of be unlikely. I think that he would do fines because we're not dealing with some high classy New York attorneys like in the criminal case. Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure. I think at this point, uh, the judge is going to weigh out what the different options are. I think we should all say, listen, Judge, you're great. Let's see some jail time. We could do that. We could be like, we're not trying to unduly influence you, sir, but let's go ahead and put him in jail. Attorneys in jail. That needs to be the next, big reality show. Attorneys go to jail for being jerks. I love it. Oh my gosh, I would totally invest in that project. All right, but for tonight, everyone, again, and I kind of came out a little bit early. I'm not feeling 100% tonight, so I'm not going to be able to stay on for too long. So I came out a little early to just kind of, play with the trolls a little bit. But I did want to update everyone on the Khalil case. Now, I am saying his name, I'm sure, incorrectly, and I mean no disrespect. It looks like Mahmoud Khalil, and quite frankly, all I can think of is like the Superman character. So I'm my mind's already unfortunately uh, predestined to say the name wrong. Versus Joyce. This is the Columbia student case. Oh, thank you so much, man from the West. Pretty soon. Did I say it correctly? Okay, thank you. Yes, I'm. The last few days have taken their toll, so I'm gonna have to take some rest after this live tonight. So he was an activist, right? And he was detained. So I wanted to take you through just the beginning part of this because I think the judge sets this whole case out very well. It is scary. It is scary because we're in a situation here where we have a permanent resident, citizen situation, and they just picked him up and detained him. So this is some pretty significant stuff. Let me go ahead and make a sticky note here before I dive in and get you to the beginning. One thing that's going to frustrate you and everybody else here is that this case jurisdictionally is kind of is having a bit of a tug of war situation going on. So we're still fighting to get it into the correct jurisdiction as we go forward. So that right now is the most important thing, is which court, which jurisdiction is most appropriate. So I'm going to just put Colombian student on here. Columbia, it's university, right? Columbia University. uni, we'll just call it uni, student. Here we go. Detained. Just, oh my gosh, I tell you what. I'm just, I'm running on, memories of spoons right now. Oh my gosh, I know they take a lot out of you, everyone. It takes a lot to sometimes just to keep going forward. But we'll do it. We'll make it. All right. Terrible. The administration knows that they're violating. Oh, they do. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I agree. I agree. All right. So I'll just read through the first couple of pages here to give you an idea about this case. I wanted to make sure that I put a spotlight on it to remind everybody that this is still going on. This person is still in custody, honestly, illegally. We're looking here at a habeas corpus situation. Anytime habeas corpus is being used, we've got to see if it's kind of a martial law moment. So here we go. United States District Judge, at the heart of this case is the important question of whether and under what circumstances the government may rescind a person's lawful permanent resident status and remove him from the United States. That's a huge question. It is raised by way of a petition for the writ of habeas corpus pursuant to 28 U.S. Code Section 2241 that was filed on behalf of Mr. Khalil, a graduate student at Columbia University. On March 8th of 2025, immigration authorities arrested and detained Khalil, a green card holder and the husband of a United States citizen, based on the determination by the Secretary of State of the United States that his presence or activities in the United States would have potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequences. They're always going to pull this language out. So these are the magic words they're going to be using in order to, invoke executive power. So we got to be careful about that with all of this and how much you do. Oh, I know. I have to take a lot of breaks. I have to take a lot of breaks for sure. For the United States, and his petition, Khalil alleges that the Secretary of State made this determination to retaliate against and punish him for his participation in protests on or around Columbia's campus concerning Israel's military campaign in Gaza. He argues that his arrest, detention, and prospective removal violate his First Amendment right to freedom of speech, his Fifth Amendment right to due process of law, as well as the Administrative Procedure Act. He seeks an order directing his release from detention and setting aside the Secretary of State's determination. I hope he's not in El Salvador, everyone. We really just don't even know at this point who all has been shipped. Yikes. These are serious allegations and arguments that no doubt warrant careful review by a court of law. The fundamental constitutional principle that all persons in the United States are entitled to due process of law demands no less. Footnote 1. In many instances, a person who argues that the government's efforts to remove him from the United States are unlawful must await entry of a final order of removal and then file in the appropriate court of appeals and petition for review. The court need not and does not address whether that's the route that Khalil must take to raise the claims that he brings in his petition here. So we had the first footnote right here. But before the court may review Khalil's allegations and arguments, it must confront a threshold question, whether it's the proper tribunal to even consider Khalil's petition. Generally, a person challenging his detention through a habeas petition is required to file that petition in a federal district court where he's detained at the time of filing, and to name as the respondent the custodians detaining him there. The Supreme Court articulated and applied these long-standing rules known as the District of Confinement and Immediate Custodian Rules. In a case where that could be described as even more extraordinary than this one, a habeas petition filed on behalf of Jose Padilla, a United States citizen who was designated an enemy combatant and detained by the military, and that was a 2004 case. Lower courts, including this court, have since held that these rules apply to habeas petitions filed by people held in immigration detention, such as Khalil, at least to the extent that they seek release. Relying on the District of Confinement and immediate custodian rules, the government moves to dismiss his petition. So they're trying to get rid of his habeas petition or to transfer it to the Western District of Louisiana because that's where they took him, where he was taken by the government on March 10th and has since been detained. By contrast, Khalil argues that this court should hear his petition. In the alternative, he argues that it should be transferred to the District of New Jersey, where he was detained at the time that his lawyer filed the petition, not to the Western District of Louisiana. For the reasons set forth below, the court agrees with the government that Khalil's petition cannot be heard in this district and agrees with Khalil that it should be transferred to the District of New Jersey. Phew! So that's really good. That's good for him. Not dismissed or transferred to the Western District of Louisiana. These conclusions flow from the undisputed fact that at 4:40 a.m. on March 9th, when Khalil's lawyer filed the petition on his behalf, he was detained in New Jersey. A straightforward application of the District of Confinement and immediate custodian rules therefore dictates that Khalil's petition should have been filed in the United States District Court for the District of New Jersey, not in this court. Khalil makes various arguments in an effort to avoid that conclusion, most notably seizing on the concurring opinion in Padilla, in which Justice Anthony Kennedy joined Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, bless her, observed that he would acknowledge an exception to the District of Confinement and immediate custodian rules if there's an indication the government's purpose in removing a prisoner were to make it difficult for his lawyer to know where the habeas petition should be filed, or where the government was not forthcoming with respect to the identity of the custodian and the place of detention. So true. I mean, that's an incredibly good point, right? But it's not clear that Justice Kennedy's opinion is the law of the land, nor has any court ever found that his exceptions applied. In any event, even with Justice Kennedy's exceptions, if they were law or the court were to adopt them, they would not aid Khalil. That is because he's not alleged facts that indicate his transfer from the district to this district to the District of New Jersey. The only transfer relevant to the jurisdictional analysis was done for an improper purpose, or that the government was not forthcoming about his whereabouts in a way that meaningfully affected his ability to seek, let alone obtain, judicial review of his detention. For these reasons elaborated upon below, the court concludes that it may not entertain his petition, but the court rejects the government's request to dismiss the case or to transfer it to the Western District of Louisiana. As to the former, transfer rather than dismissal is the path the courts usually take in these circumstances. That path is all the more appropriate in this case, as dismissal would mean vacatur of this court's order barring Khalil's removal from the United States until his claims are addressed, and thus might allow the government to frustrate Khalil's effort to obtain judicial review of his claims by removing him from the country before a court could rule. I mean, this is awful. This is so awful, everybody. It's awful. Moreover, Khalil filed in the wrong district through no fault of his own. His lawyer reasonably relied on the information made available to her by the government at the time of the filing. As to the latter, the court concludes that a straightforward application of well-established federal law mandates transfer of the case to the District of New Jersey because, under the immediate custodian and District of Confinement rules, it is the one and only district in which Khalil could have filed his petition at the time this action commenced. Congress has prescribed the district to which this case must be transferred, and it is New Jersey. The court is no less bound by these laws to transfer to the District of New Jersey than it is bound by the immediate custodian and District of Confinement rules to decline jurisdiction. So, again, everyone, as we go through this whole rigmarole, he's in custody. So he is detained in custody in Louisiana. In many ways, this is indeed an exceptional case, and there is a need for careful judicial review. Such judicial review is especially critical when, as here, there are colorable claims that the executive branch has violated the law and exercised its otherwise lawful authority in an arbitrary and discriminatory manner. Citing Marbury versus Madison, it's emphatically the province and duty of the judicial department to say what the law is. But the Supreme Court has made clear that the long-standing immediate custodian and district of confinement rules apply without regard for whether a case is exceptional, special, or unusual. And in an exceptional case, it is all the more important for a court to apply well-established principles to the facts, lest emotions or passions interfere with reasoned analysis. That is the essence of the rule of law. For the reasons that follow, the court concludes that well-established principles call for this court to transfer his petition to the United States District Court for the District of New Jersey, and the court orders that the case be so transferred forthwith to preserve the status quo and ensure that he gets an opportunity to have his claims heard in due course. The court's order barring the government from removing him shall remain in effect unless and until the transferee court orders otherwise. It will be up to that court to consider his claims as well as the motions he has filed to date in connection with his claims, namely a motion to transfer him from his present place of confinement to a detention facility in this district, a motion for release on bail, and a motion for preliminary injunctive relief. So he's not even been able to get bail. This sucks so much. Yikes. Hello, Navy vet. Welcome, welcome. So there you go. That's kind of our intro here on the update on what's going on with this case. So right now, they arrested him in a place and then just moved him immediately. And you have to wonder, well, why, right? Why would you move him to Louisiana? Of all places, that's probably going to be one of the more expensive places to move him to. So why would you move him, right, to Louisiana? It's suspicious. It's pretty suspicious here. Now he's got a motion for bail and all of these other things that all of that will have to be moved over to the New Jersey court once this gets transferred. So it's good to have this transferred, but anytime you're doing anything in the court system, it adds multiple days to everything. So again, he's been sitting in jail for this whole period of time. The DOJ thought would be more amenable to, exactly right. Yep, exactly. If they get these cases, and again, even because if you look at the El Salvador situation, that was out of Texas, right? So if they can get them into a friendly jurisdiction, then it's more likely that they will succeed in not having due process. They're going to be like, well, we don't need due process. Now, I'm not going to bash on Texas judges, but I am going to say there have been judges who have been willing to go forward on constitutional decisions that the Supreme Court has held time and time and time again are unconstitutional. So I will note that. I think that jurisdiction gets overruled a heck of a lot. So, oh, his wife's pregnant. Oh, that's terrible. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and taking away family, friends, people who could offer assistance. Absolutely, right? I mean, that's one of the first things you do is remove people from their strength, right? From their support systems. This is awful. This is an awful case. This is an awful situation. And now that we've got Marco Rubio here saying, he's an adversary. Like, who do you get to choose as an adversary, sir? I mean, how do you have that power? I'm here for the nails. That's so funny. Oh my gosh, yeah, I just changed these nails today. Oh, That's so sweet. Yeah, so it's a problem, everybody. And again, this guy was protesting a First Amendment protest. Now, when we're protesting, we have to make sure that we abide by the rules. So, time, place, and manner, your First Amendment right is not unlimited, it's not absolute. So, you have to make sure you're following the rules. But we're not talking here about some kind of a PETA situation. We're not talking about, huge damages to property or even what's happening, with the Tesla situation. We're not talking about that. We're talking about uh, a student protesting out of college. I mean, it doesn't get much more American than that. Which, of course, we didn't invent that. We took it from others. But I'm just saying, that's like a huge difference. So we're not dealing with the point that he's causing some kind of anti-American issue here, or storming the Capitol. Good point, Spitfire. That's an excellent point. There's no line they won't. I agree. We're in dangerous territory here. Yeah. Yep. So the best thing to do when we're in dangerous territory is to just be loud. And, one of the things that sometimes people forget because they don't see immediate reactions when they're protesting or when they're calling. You might think, well, it doesn't make any difference. That's just not true. That's just not true. I promise you, it's not true. And the more noise you make, the more they're trying to make the noise stop. And that's for any situation. If you're in any place and there's loud noise that's annoying to you, you're going to do whatever it is that you need to do to make it stop. And it's the same. It's the same here. So the more protests, the more letters, the more phone calls, uh, all of that noise that's being made, that's what turns everything here, because you're going to be noticed. So make some noise. Y'all are doing great. You're doing great work, by the way, with the noise making, for sure. But this, again, can the Supreme Court reverse the immunity decision? So, first of all, yes, the Supreme Court can reverse any of the decisions that the Supreme Court makes, first of all, or they can kind of, temper it a little bit, like clarify things. Because the big thing about the immunity decision, in all honesty, is that it's just not clear exactly where the lines are. Because the whole point of that decision was that the Supreme Court said, lower court, you didn't even answer these questions. So you need to answer these questions because there could be immunity. And they sent it back. But the case, right, we had the election and then the case was done. So we didn't even get the answers to those questions. So that was really the issue here, or one of many issues. Cans of pennies, exactly. Cans of pennies. I might take a can of pennies to a Tesla showroom on the day that we're. I could have sworn I heard cans of pennies being shaken at some of the town halls. There was a Republican. Oh my gosh, the Republican in Wyoming. Boy, she was strutting on that stage like, I own this place. And the audience was like, let me tell you who owns Wyoming. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I love it. They do good work. I was just absolutely impressed with the audience there in Wyoming. If you haven't caught that clip, go take a look at it. The Republican in Wyoming, it was great. She really is a hateful biddy, VC. Excellent label. I saw a clip she made of where she said, oh, the Republicans were forced by the courts in New Jersey. We couldn't be poll watchers, and because the courts wouldn't allow it. And finally that got lifted. I did a little research and I'm like, they're basically like pulling in, armed people to go in and poll watch. Like, that's not the poll watching that I'm familiar with. Very, very interesting. So, yeah, she really can spin it. Yeah, do that now. I agree. Real ID for domestic travel. I have no position one way or the other. Quite frankly, I did I went to a conference in my early prosecutor days on identity theft, and it's a really interesting situation. I just don't have a stance one way or the other. Like I could be convinced uh, that it's too much. Absolutely, I could, but I just I don't have a stance on it. Um, Sorry about that. I only have so much space in my brain. I think I thought I had more space. I thought it was, just ongoing, but it's really not at this point. At this point, I don't have enough room. Regarding the SAFE Act, that's where the real ID stuff came in too. Big questions about that. Anytime you start requiring things that um, require a huge amount of effort and money, now you start getting into certain people being um, unable to fulfill all those requirements. Cans of pennies, we should push that. Well, heck yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is she the one that said people were too obsessed with it? Yes, that was the one, Anitra. You can't just show up at your precinct making demands. Oh, I know. And she was saying something like, "Oh, I didn't know you guys were so interested in federal law." Like, I'm sorry, what's your job again? Women should just stop changing their names when they get married. Problem solved. That's an interesting point because it's been a slow process, but I have to admit, like, that change is definitely picking up. We have a lot of double last names that have happened since then, but I mean, I have to admit, just to look around, just as my own personal view of names, it looks like we're definitely heading that way. I did when I first got my, yeah, absolutely. So if I were to do it again, I wouldn't have changed my name. Now, I have to admit, everybody, I changed my name, and I've told my husband, if we, well, I mean, he wouldn't divorce me. I would clearly be divorcing him. But if we're done and that's over, I'm keeping my name. I'm going full Tina Turner style because my name that I had before I got married was such a nightmare. My last name, I had two last names because, you know, family, family stuff, and I hated it. I hated both of my last names because I didn't really care for the people. So I was like, as soon as I got married, I'm like, that's it. This is the buck stops here, and I don't care if we get divorced in a year. We're done. In fact, the only reason I'm marrying you is so I can change my name. That's it. Oh my gosh. About the ones with multiple, exactly, right? I mean, it's a hassle to change your name so much. But the point is, you should be able to do whatever you want. You should be able to change your name if you want, and the government needs to be like, chill the H out. Had a cool last name and changed it to one. Oh my gosh, that's a yikes. That's a journey. 1943. We were $6 million. Really? Oh my gosh. All right. $6 million. With that, you could move to another country. I'm just saying. I only married my ex for the name too. Well, I think that's okay. I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to judge on that. Oh my goodness. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Really, a damage doll looks like a Cheeto. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. On her third complete name change, I'm all for it. Well, yeah, I mean, I have someone in my world who would like to change their name, and I'm like, well, once you're 18, yeah, I'll take you to the court and we can get your name changed. You know, that's fine. Do it, and it shouldn't be because you're worried about your name not being able to be changed on your government documents that prevents you from changing it. It should be possible to go through and change those names without a problem. Yeah, I mean, if you I'm not myself personally comfortable changing a minor's name legally. I'm not a big fan of that, only because I changed my name as a minor and it was a nightmare after you turn 18. So, again, my own anecdotal knowledge here. It's paperwork. Yeah, it's expensive. It's so expensive. Have to do everything. Yeah, the driver's license, so security card, all of that stuff, all of it gets changed. Yep. Yeah. So what's nice about the marriage situation is because you already have a legal document in front of you, you just sign your name and that you want to change it, and then it gets filed and there you go. It just is easy to do that when you're getting married because you've got the legal records right there. But the same legal records just get signed as well and submitted to court if you're not getting married. So it's up to you how you want to go about it. But yeah, it's definitely a hassle. Definitely a hassle for sure, for sure. I would agree with that. All right, so this is again just reviewing the man, this poor student. I tell you what, in Louisiana custody here. Hopefully, he'll be moved back over to the New Jersey soon. Fingers crossed. Also, one more filing here that I wanted to share with everybody. And this was just a couple of days ago. Our courts are so frustrated at this point, and rightfully so. Sorry, I've got to grab I have this chair I can wheel around on, but my my table is large. I'm thankful for that. Anyway, back to it. We've got a couple of huge cases where they've ordered employees back to work because they were unconstitutionally fired, right? And we've got cases now where the courts are starting to be a little leery of the administration. So I thought this was a great example to show what our judges are starting to do here. So the court has read news reports and at least one agency probationary employees are being rehired but then placed on administrative leave en masse. This is not allowed by the preliminary injunction, for it would not restore the services the preliminary injunction intends to restore. Defendant shall state to the extent to which any rehired probationary employees are being placed on administrative leave by March 18th. And they did file that. But what I think is important here is we've got a judge who is saying, dude, your media reports are saying you're not complying with my order. So I'm going to file this and I'm going to say you need to comply with my order. And this again is what it looks like before contempt proceedings start getting into play. All right. So the judges here are watching and they are having some trust issues here with the administration. And the judges are like, look, I've ruled, you need to follow through. So we've had several questions when it comes to federal funding. I think those are probably the biggest cases where we're having non-compliance issues. As far as numbers go, multiple cases there. These are the probationary employees that need to be put back to work, and it's looking like they're coming into compliance. And then, of course, with the El Salvador case, the reason that one is so enormous is because we have that complete removal from the United States. So, once you're removed from the United States, any protections, we just have no idea what's happening to them outside of the country, right? So that's, of course, the most pressing. But these also, we're still dealing with that pushback from the executive branch against the judiciary. Oh my gosh, on the envelope? That's crazy. Oh, that's madness. They're living on the edge when they're doing that. Although in those days being like 3 years ago, well, maybe we could go back. The pre-Trump days, that's those were the old days. We did all kinds of stuff like that. Or people that didn't have an acute fear of identity theft. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Willie B, you've got to get that going. Seriously, you could make a whole, you could turn that into a business. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can see that. I can those kinds of requirements, nobody really thought anything of it until people started stealing information and doing bad things with it. It really follows the crimes that come from it. If you don't have a crime with the ID issue, then, who cares? But now everybody is stealing IDs and doing all kinds of stuff with it. So now it's become an issue. Yep, yep. So with that, my friends, again, I needed to do a shorter one tonight. I am just not feeling that great. I came on a little bit early to play with the trolls and to hang out, but needed to cut it short tonight. So I will be putting lawyers. Well, yeah. I mean, I know you're being bad boxer mom, but still, put him in jail. Like, I don't advocate for violence, but I think incarceration's fine. Anyway, so with that, everyone, I will go ahead and sign off for tonight. I will be coming back over here. Again, we're in the 7-day countdown to my permanent moving over here. Thank you, Arnie. I appreciate that. I will be doing Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday live, 7 o'clock. So I'll be back again on Sunday for sure. And I'll be doing posts here, again, trying to move everything over here in the next week or so. So I wish you all the very best. Take care. Have a wonderful night. I'm going to go and rest for quite a while. Myself, my husband just looked at me this morning and was like, uh-huh. You're going to do something with the hair? And I was like, too weak. I can't even do anything with the hair. Just not feeling it today. So take care, everyone. Watch your mental health, and I'll be back again on Sunday to